think that's what it is? Yeah? Then he's going to say that Congress didn't make a law, so it's fine. He can get rid of the First Amendment?
Hi, everyone. Today we're going to see what they're masking with the Constitution. This one took me forever because I kept having to rewrite it because every time I was ready to film, they did something else. I even filmed one and had to chuck it because there was so much that I learned that they did with the Constitution that was not good. They are just stomping on federal law and the Constitution like it's an old timey winemaker stomping on grapes, like squishing between their toes. Now, since the Constitution is the basis of all federal laws, I'm going to use violations of both for this. It's not my fault federal law doesn't start with a C. They need to get with my aesthetic. But so we're going to take these constitutional amendments one at a time. And I pray I work fast enough for him not to do anything else before I finish this. So the First Amendment. The Trump administration came for freedom of speech hard when the FCC chair threatened ABC to take Jimmy Kimmel off the air or they'll have to do it the hard way. So by the way, you all stopped this. You all canceled your Disney Plus, your Hulu, your ESPN streamer, whatever was owned by ABC, y'all canceled it. And you got them to get Jimmy Kimmel back. So good job, everybody. See, we can do things. They're lucky the alphabet didn't get canceled because it starts with ABC. So, free still in the First Amendment, freedom of press. He is consistently calling anyone who doesn't agree with him fake news and demanding that they print what he wants or be thrown out of the newsroom. Freedom of religion. Muslims are still being harassed and discriminated against. They're trying to get the Ten Commandments to be put in school, but the Ten Commandments don't cover half of the big stuff. I'd tell you what they are, but I'd have to say stupid stuff like grapes, essays, chicken hawks, and a CP, things because I can't even talk about this on YouTube. Another part of the First Amendment, freedom of assembly. He is sending military organizations, the National Guard, after us in the US, in our cities in the US for protesting. He's calling them riots and he's calling it war. I've even seen videos of law enforcement telling people that they can't even protest at ICE offices until after 9 a.m. because they do most of their work. ICE does most of their work in between 6 a.m. and 9 a.m., which is why I'm having trouble getting out there for the ICE race because I am not a morning person. Okay, and all that is just the First Amendment. All right. They are square dancing all over the Fourth Amendment, which states people have the right to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures. They have been doing this for months to our migrant and immigrant populations. But they are now doing it to anyone they want in the name of finding illegal immigrants. And hey, no human is illegal. An entire apartment building in Chicago was descended on in the middle of the night, dragging men, women, children from their beds, clothed or not. Yeah, they were naked, naked, nude. Not all of them, obviously. It did not matter if they were a citizen or not. They destroyed windows, doors. They were holding people for hours and then they were just letting them go back to their apartments and where the door might be broken, windows might be broken. How are you supposed to feel safe like that? They did arrest 37 people, including 4 children who were U.S. citizens, and they are currently looking for a reason to deport them. They had no warrant and no cause. The Fifth Amendment is not being spared either. Not only does it guarantee the right to not incriminate yourself, but also the right to due process. Each and every person accused of the crime in the U.S. is guaranteed by the Constitution to go through our legal system. Now, the sixth goes along with the fifth, saying you get a fair trial that is speedy and open to the public. You also have the right to a lawyer for anything that might end in jail time or deportation. Hmm? Yeah, so they are not doing that either. And now the Eighth Amendment. The Eighth Amendment is being beaten to a pulp in every internment camp masquerading as a detention center or a jail in the US. No excessive fines and forbids cruel and unusual punishment. There have been reports of people living in filth, living without clean water, and that is not okay. Constantly in fear of their health and their lives. That is not okay. The Eighth Amendment should be preventing that because it forbids cruel and unusual punishment. They are even arresting representatives of Congress who are going to check on these detention centers like they are allowed to do by law. The members of Congress are allowed to check on detention centers at any time without any prior warning. And there are representatives who have been arrested for this and now have to fight a legal battle, even though that's their job. They are fighting a legal battle for doing their job. Okay, and I'll tell you right out that I didn't understand what the hell the Ninth Amendment was saying. So I had to read some analysis and histories. And guess what? It's the most important one because it says that if a right it isn't written in our amendments, that doesn't make it any less worthy. Yeah, it's still a right to be cherished and upheld in the pursuit of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Our forefathers knew that everything wouldn't be listed here, so they made sure that there was an amendment that said just because it's not listed here doesn't mean it's not as important. Yeah, that's what our laws are for. Our laws are to fill in those gaps. Our federal laws fill in those gaps. The 10th Amendment, it says if the powers are not expressly that of the federal government, all power is that of the states or the people themselves. That's right. It says in the Constitution, power to the people. So we got to use it, y'all. We got to use this power that our Constitution says that we have. And let's skip to the 14th because it's got 5 sections, and this administration is violating at least 3. Uh, one section is about birthright citizenship. They are really, really hammering into this one. If you are born in the United States, you get all the rights and privileges of being a United States citizen. That's what birthright citizenship is. And the Supreme Court skirted this issue the first time that the Trump administration brought it to them. But he has now asked them to make a definitive ruling on whether or not birthright citizenship will be taken away. That's huge, huge. Our president is asking the Supreme Court to directly violate the Constitution. Directly violate it. The other 2 things in the 14th Amendment is that no one involved in an insurrection can hold office. You know, cough January 6th, cough, cough. Uh, And another thing is that Congress shall have the power to enforce this amendment. Now, he threatens every congressperson that dares to think about fulfilling their oath and upholding the Constitution. Another one, voting should not be denied. Now, this amendment goes into a lot of specifics about that, but the 19th and the 21st Amendment make it so that every U.S. citizen's vote over 18 shall not be denied. It took us a while to get there for women and people of color, but we got there. The Trump administration is giving all kinds of support to the states that are trying to gerrymander their districts so that no Democrats win whatsoever. And that is not okay. Every person's vote should count. Every person should be free to vote and to have their vote count. And finally, let's get to the 22nd of the 27 amendments in the US Constitution, presidential term limits. He has repeatedly said that at the end of this term, he is not going away, that he will do whatever it takes so that he gets to be president, even though if he does this, it would not be called a president anymore. He gets to be president for as long as he wants to. Immigrants applying for citizenship in this country have to be able to answer 100 questions. They only get tested on 10 of them, but it's a random 10, so they have to know them all. And a lot of this constitutional information is part of the test. Donald Trump and his administration should not be able to decide who has the ability to have citizenship in this country, because I don't know if he can pass this test. I really don't. With how many laws and constitutional amendments he's breaking, I'm not sure. Now, I'm going to be part of the fall of the Trump fascist regime mass protest on November 5th because I want the government to follow the Constitution and remove Trump from office of the president because of all the crimes against the Constitution that he's been doing. Now, I say get rid of Donald Trump. What does that mean? That means using our Constitution and actually following through with the impeachment process and the removal process. Our laws have a way to do this. We need to demand the removal of Donald Trump. If you cannot be in Washington, D.C. on November 5th and in the National Mall at 11 a.m., that's okay. Show up at your state capitol. Talk to your representatives about demanding the removal of Donald Trump. Either encourage them to be better or thank them for pushing to uphold the Constitution, like the oath that they gave. All right, is our Constitution perfect? No, it's not. But we can't go backwards. We can't lose the rights that have been given to us and given to this country because of that. I have a Patreon that if you want to be a part of that, this video really stifled me because of how many different violations of the Constitution and federal law there were, and I wanted to get my information correct. But the next video will be about choose. Slogan of choose Constitution, courage, and contribution. The choose isn't just a verb there. The choose is actually an action as well. So that'll be the next video. Please like and subscribe. Hype if you are on mobile. All right. Thank you so much. Bye.